to book club. Thank you guys so much for being so patient with us to bump this from Tuesday night to Wednesday night. We will go back to our regular Tuesday nights starting next week because I'm not sure how many chapters there are in this book. Probably should have looked at that, huh? But we should. Oh, it doesn't really say, huh? It just kind of gives the content. But I feel like we'll be back. We'll probably have 2 more weeks, I think, before we're finished with the book. Let's see. Why are we not
I'm
live?
not seeing us live.
It says we're live. There we go. Okay, finally. There we're live. Why are we not seeing this?
Can you guys hear us?
Yeah, people are saying hi. We're just not seeing it. We're seeing on our screen that we're live, but we're not seeing it on YouTube that we're live. Let's see.
Thanks, Lindsay.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that. Oh, yeah, there we go. I'm showing it right there. We're just not seeing it. Okay. How come it's not? Oh, maybe it'll just stay on there. Okay. We're always trying to figure out our stuff around here. We're such a shit show. But yeah, thank you guys for being patient with us. I'd committed to grandbabies like 4 months ago. Their parents had a concert that they planned, and I had forgotten that it was on Tuesday because who goes to a concert on a Tuesday night, which is a work night and a school night, but my kids do. So yeah. So we finished reading 15 through 20, and we read this. I swear we listened to this live, but not live, but listened to it and then read the book. Well, we just listened to it on audio, and then now listening to it and reading it is totally different. There is so much stuff that I missed the first go around because we were listening to it while we were cleaning and while we were doing stuff. And so I wasn't like fully engaged like I am now. There is so much stuff that I have missed. And yeah, I just want to pre-warn everybody, we'll cut it off at 2 hours. I don't know if we will get through all these chapters because there's so much stuff to go through. And for those of you that don't know who we are, we were both born and raised in the AUB, which is the same church that the Browns came out of. My dad is the current leader there. And most people do know who we are by now. But in case for those of you who are new or haven't been on here before, I grew up with Christine and Mary and knew Cody. And then Corey grew up down the street from Robin. And one of Corey's best friends was Robin's brother. And so that's kind of a little bit of background who we are. But we are watching Sister Wives right now for the very first time. And we're on season 4. And in these chapters, Christine refers so much back to the exact episodes that we're on right now.
It's pretty freaky. So
yeah,
we're watching episodes, and here she's talking about it in her book. So,
and I really feel like if you haven't bought the audiobook and you're like a super fan or whatever, I really feel like hearing her say the words is a different experience than you reading them yourself. She adds emphasis on certain words that are maybe a little bit more painful, or there's just a little bit more emotion in it. So I feel like listening to her has brought a different perspective for us. So yeah, I'm curious. Looks like, do we have I'm the McKelty in here? I don't know. Somebody said on our last live that McKelty had mentioned us on her channel. I don't know if she has or not. We don't know all of the Brown kids. We know some of them, but not all of them. And McKelty's one I don't know that we've ever really met. Probably saw him when they were little, but we don't know him. But we do know their parents nonetheless, or did know their parents and their grandparents. So yeah. So we want to remind everybody before we get started to do your healing work, especially as we go into this book and we hear some of the traumas and some of the heartache that happens when you're raised in a high controlled religion. which is what the AUB is. It's an extremely high controlled religion. So we want to remind everybody to please do their healing work. As we've worked on this channel, so much has come up for us that we still want to heal. Also, one of the things I wanted to read really quick before we got started, because I just pulled this up and it was so relevant, especially to what Christine's talking about right now. It says, trauma makes you settle for almost loved, almost chosen, almost enough. Healing helps you realize that you deserve the real thing, a love that's steady, clear, and all in. And I feel like we were all raised in such huge levels of trauma that we settled for almost. And Christine says this multiple times during the book. And my mom has said this multiple times to me growing up. I don't know if your mom has ever said this to you. Things will get better.
Yeah.
I expected things to start getting better. Like, yeah, Robin came into the family, it rocked the boat, but it will get better. And so we always lived with that. It would get better. And it never typically does, unfortunately. So I wanted to read that out, because when you are raised in such a high controlled religion, the way that we are, it is really easy to settle for that almost. And you think that you've got the real thing because it's eternal, and it just isn't. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's 2 live open rooms.
What? 2 live open rooms?
Yeah, that's why I'm in one.
How are we in 2 live open rooms? That makes no sense. So, 2 live open rooms on YouTube? Is that what you're saying? Somebody says there's 2 live open rooms right now. I don't know what that means. Oh, hi everyone. Weird. Guess I was on the wrong live. I'm not sure why that happened. I only had it scheduled in one place, but we've been using the same cover photo for each one. We've just been changing the chapters, so that might be something. Dragon Tears for Me. Thank you so much for that super chat. We appreciate that. We really do. We really appreciate you guys supporting our channel. It's helped us to be able to buy microphones that sometimes work when we learn how to use them. But we do appreciate that. So on chapter 15, Christine goes over what somebody's saying that they were in the other chat. That is weird right now. I wonder why, because we've got 172 people on this one. I'm not sure why. Are you seeing 2 chats over there?
I can't even find.
Interesting.
Sorry, you guys.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, there's I see it with like 27 people on that channel.
Right now that I'm in
here. I don't know if this is this the right chat?
Yeah, I think this is a whole different one that you've started. And so everybody was in here talking on this one. I just had to click on a whole new one on our live. So
I'm just going to put this. Okay, let's see. Go to our channel. Well, darn it. I don't know how that happened. It's weird.
yeah.
We're still trying to learn. We're trying to take the classes. We're trying to learn everything, but sometimes we're just not, we think we do everything right. And then we get here and it's just somehow not right.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure what's happening.
We're loving this because now we can see the chat over in this one. So,
right. But this one,
I guess it started a whole new one.
That is so weird. Yeah. Cause this channel right here is saying that it's not, that we're not live. We have you pulled up on like 3 different screens.
Yep.
That is so weird. I wonder why. It did that.
Okay.
But this one just says, welcome to our live show. This one doesn't say it's a Sisterized book club.
Yeah.
I think we messed up somewhere. I'm so sorry. Thank you guys for joining us over here though.
Yes.
I think I messed that up somehow. I'm not really sure. We'll figure it out. Okay. So we're going to, hopefully everybody from that can jump over. Yeah. I went over there and made a comment on that one. Yeah. Cause we have it pulled up on our screen. We have 3 different monitors now because our kids got a new computer, gave us their old computer. And so we're able to pull up our channel on a couple of different monitors. And the one that we were looking at never started.
Yes.
So interesting. So we'll figure that out next time. I haven't had that happen before, but
Yep.
oh well, here we go. Okay, so this one is chapter 15, Mojitos Are Delicious, which I think is funny. I love how she talks about, she starts going off about, well, first of all, I want to bring up on season 20, episode 1 that just barely came out. Cody's going off on here about how everyone was welcoming to Robin into the family until the honeymoon.
Till they came back from the honeymoon, and then everything changed.
Yeah. And then they came back from the honeymoon and everything changed. And he didn't understand why everything changed.
And this is Christine's view of why it all changed.
Right.
What changed.
That's what's awesome about being able to read this book with the current season going on. And then also we're in season 4, episode 3. And a lot of that is referenced in here as well. So I think that is really funny too. But she talks to me. Well, I feel like she's talking to me when I'm reading this. But she talks about how as the honeymoon began for Cody and Robin, it ended for Christine. She was at a totally different place. 11 days. She talks about their honeymoon. I have said this from day one that we ever started talking about Sister Wives on this channel, is that I will never let that 11-day thing die, because I think it is so disgusting that this man took 11 days away from his family, away from a newborn infant. And she says it right here in the book. Who leaves for 11 days when they have a hockey team of children back home? It hurt that he had it planned out. Every activity, surfing, and the romance had been built into it. And she realizes it's because TLC was filming it, and of course probably paid for a huge chunk of it, but that still hurts her because he didn't even plan their honeymoon at all.
Yeah. And who does that? A monogamous does. So this right from the get-go, even when they're dating, they have been living like monogamous since the very beginning.
Right.
So this is where Cody is changing with Robin. So
right. And she just talks about how he accused her of comparing his treatment of each wives. This is the number one thing in our experience that polygamous men do when they know they're wrong and they don't want to fix it.
Yep. You can't compare us.
Nope.
You can't compare.
My love for you is different than my love for her. Exactly. My love for her is different than my love for you. You wouldn't want them to all be the same, would you? And so there's a lot of leading questions that happen. But if a man doesn't want to change his behavior, that's what he does. You're just comparing. You shouldn't comparing. Comparing is the thief of joy.
And within this religion, the men usually do not have to change their behavior. It's the women that have to change their behavior. The kids, they all have to adjust around how the man is being treated.
Right. And so one of the things that I understand the situation that they were in. They were filming the show wants to see this relationship between Cody and Robin. So I understand all of that too. But I feel like at that point, he could have made something special for each one of the other wives as well. And absolutely not taken an 11-day honeymoon. I think the most I have ever heard of a husband taking a second, third, multiple wives on a honeymoon is 5 days. And even that felt extreme.
Well, especially now that they're coming out publicly to, why isn't he now doing the same thing? Okay, well, I took Robin on 11-day honeymoon. Why isn't he taking each of the other wives on those 11-day honeymoons?
Right.
But
now that they have the money for it, why isn't he being equal and fair in this?
Equal and fair. Because they couldn't do it in their previous 16, 17 years. But now that he can, why not do it? So I bet TLC would have paid for that.
Yeah. And so there is so much in each one of these chapters to talk to with. So one of the things she says in there is that even when all the wives tried not to see it, it felt like Cody's love for Robin was in the spotlight, because it was. TLC was highlighting it. Everyone in the world got to see this man fall in love with a new woman. And so it hurts my heart when I read these parts of her book, because I guarantee you that there is so much that she doesn't put in here. Yeah, my guy for the love, will you please get up closer to your mic? Oh, yeah, you got to talk louder into your microphone.
All right. Yep.
Yeah. We'll turn Corey's up a little bit too. But one of the things Christine says in here is, how am I going to compete with this? This is the number one thing that we are taught as young women in polygamy, is that you do not compete with other wives. He loves you for you. He loves you for the characteristics you bring into the relationship. He loves you for all of these other things. You don't compete. But Christine's, every wife does it. Every woman does it. How can you not? Especially in a world with social media, with all sorts of in your face. Am I doing better than you? Do I look better than you? Do I look younger than you? So that's really hard to say. And when their love story is being broadcast all over the world. So then she talks about, he comes back from their honeymoon and now she gets him every fourth night. So there's a lot of things that are in here that I thought were very contradictory to each other. She says every fourth night, and then she says when he just showed up unannounced. How would it be unannounced if it was every fourth night? And then she clears that up in later chapters. So I had highlighted all this stuff because I'm like, wait a minute, she's saying every fourth night, like he's on a rotation.
But if he's not getting along with another wife, then
that boots him out.
Yep.
Yeah. And so somebody says Corey needs a Britney Spears mic headset. I know. I'm trying to get him. I
am speaking into the red.
I know. So, when he talks, his microphone goes all the way into the red. So then he's like worried about it. So he backs up a little bit. But yeah, let's see. Reacted and totally had the same take as you. Oh, McKelty reacted to the last episode and totally had the same take as you guys. That Cody is firm no in polygamy and Robin is a firm yes. She feels that she needs to die a polygamist. Well, I don't think too many people would be sad about watching her pass as a polygamist.
Well, yeah, that means she's going to leave Cody and marry back into the AUB.
I think so. We both think that's eventually
absolutely believe that.
Yeah. She talks about how she didn't feel wanted when Cody came back from his honeymoon. And really, how can you with that kind of publicity all over the place? Then she starts talking about they got back on their honeymoon and it was a whirlwind after that. They're going to Los Angeles. They're doing all of these different things to promote the show. And somebody asks her the question when all they had done is filmed a few episodes in the pilot. They're out in Los Angeles showing the pilot, and somebody asks, isn't polygamy a felony in Utah? And that's offensive. It is offensive because she says a felony is right up there with murder. We're not like murderers. So yeah, they are afraid that Cody's going to be arrested. Now go ahead.
Yeah, I really love this chapter because it did bring in, it really is true. I've lived here in Salt Lake or Utah for, 26 years now. And everybody within all of the neighborhoods that I've ever lived in know everything about you. I mean, it is a tight net. She talks about it being a beehive of everybody knowing everybody else's business and checking in. And so she kind of lays it out really nice where I can see why they were worried about would they be arrested to be made an example of.
Right.
The church does not like that people still live polygamy, especially since they've given it up 100 years ago. Right. And so they want to make an example of anybody that, hey, this is something we do not live anymore. And anybody that's living it is living it illegally. And so I feel like that's why they've made it a felony or had made it a felony here to make it stick that you cannot live this way anymore. So,
well, and honestly, I feel like we were very critical of this when, yes, this is the book club live. I apologize. Somehow we got 2 lives started. So I apologize for that. But yeah, here we were very critical when we watched the show for the first time. Again, we haven't watched all of the show, and we said that they escaped Utah for the show. But as I read her thoughts in here, I actually have a different of opinion. I can see why the family was so very concerned about Cody not getting arrested. So
and the community that they were raised in, the polygamous community, AUB, basically turned their backs on them too. You guys did this for yourself, and so they weren't going to help, or they weren't going to support them in
Shelter.
any way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of give them any
So
sort of shelter of community or anything, because the AUB was not happy that the sister wives
Yeah.
did the show.
they distanced themselves from the Brown family just as much as everybody within the Mormon
Right.
community started to look at them harder. So
Right. Well, and she talks about how they tried to convince people that they were just like them, like
Mhm.
anyone else, only their husband had 4 wives, which is a crazy thing, I think, for them to even try to do, like try to convince the world, because they're not like everyone else. And she gets more honest and real in here, showing how they're not like everyone else. But that's what they tried to portray. Everyone wanted to know about their sex life, which is something they decided they weren't going to talk about. That is really one of the very first questions that always comes up when people ask about polygamy. My sister and I were going through pictures the other day, and I found a picture of my dad with all of his wives in a bed, and it was just like a camping trip that we took, but the relationships are very much individual. There's not any sort of mixing of, at least that's not the doctrine that's taught. If they are, they're not living the correct doctrine that is taught by the AUB. She talks about how, her life went into a whirlwind, how she's a mom who spent her days sorting socks and kids, not prepping for primetime shows. And I can imagine how like crazy this would have gotten for their lives, because we're always taught to just, especially as women in this religion, to stay small and not be seen. One of my most famous notes that I wrote to myself was, give me the courage to show up and be seen, because we were always taught not to be seen. And so for Christine and these women to have all of a sudden be thrown into the spotlight the way that they are, I mean, what a massive amount of courage to have to get out there and be seen.
And yet Cody was always being seen
Yeah.
within his community, within.
It's okay for the men to be seen.
He was.
It's not okay for the women to be seen.
That's why he was the showboat, to
Right.
get more. He needs to be seen so that he can get more wives.
Right.
So,
Well, one of the things that she said is that mojitos. She talks about how somebody offered her a mojito and they were delicious and she loved them. And she started to drink after stressful press days. She would have a little glass here. Now, one thing to realize too is that in our religion, there is a level of naivety, however you want to say that. I don't know if I pronounce that correctly. We don't drink. Well, we do now, but we were taught as children not to drink. We were taught as like certain things that were just so out of the ballpark for us to even think about. And so she feel like maybe she became an alcoholic because she started drinking? I don't know.
No, she says in here that usually when they're drinking, when you start drinking, you start to move away from your religion.
Yeah, so she talks about that. When people are slowly moving away from their
Yeah.
religion, they'll start to have coffee, they'll start to have alcohol.
But to be honest with you, growing up in the way we grew up, the community we grew up in up there, everybody drank. They just didn't let everybody.
Oh, see, I didn't. I grew up.
you
I know
grew up
nobody that
completely.
drank.
Yeah, you grew up completely different than us. People drank. They just didn't acknowledge it or tell people about
Yeah.
it. You just did it privately in your own home.
Yeah,
So,
and that was a huge no-no in my family. It's not anymore.
yeah.
You know, my dad will enjoy a good glass of wine here and there. But one of the things she talks about is how everything changed. Press tours, Cody. One of the things I wanted to point out is that Cody, before Robin entered the family, Cody had seemed intent on integrating Robin into the family, but he left the family out of that.
Yep.
And then it was more like Cody integrated himself into their family. And that's one of the things I think is so interesting, because you're getting Christine's perspective right here. And then on season 20, episode 1, you get Cody saying everything changed after the honeymoon. Well, Christine is saying, yeah, they felt like everything changed because Cody went to integrate himself into their family, not keeping them into the family. She talks about they did more after the wedding. They started to do more as a family together, like parties and dinners and holidays, but that's when they would get together. They didn't see each other on the normal or the day.
They moved down to Vegas and instantly became each one of them became monogamous families.
Yeah.
The three original wives had all lived polygamy together, and now they moved down to Vegas and they no longer live that way.
Yeah.
So each running their own homes. So
Yep. And she talks about ice blocking. We've talked about that here on the channel before too. We would always go ice blocking with Christine's family. It was a big park that was close to the Allred compound, because the Allreds had a compound. There was a huge park with a great hill to go ice blocking. My family always went with her family. We were always, you said you'd never ice blocked, but
No.
we always did. It was cheap entertainment. It was a way that you could have a million polygamous kids entertained for I probably got dozens of pictures of our family and Christine's family ice blocking when we were kids. And then she talks about, so this chapter is basically, she's talking about the different changes that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then she talks about that, but the night started to change when Robin came into the family too. Robin's house, she had to remain in her own house after she married Cody, and Cody would go to Robin's house every night to tuck her children in. I was fuming when I read that part, because as we all know in previous chapters, Cody says he can't have time to help Christine while she's at work. He can't have time to help her tuck their children into bed. And now he's going to Robin's every night to help tuck Robin's children into bed. And he probably used the excuse that he's trying to bond with Robin's children, but he has his own children to bond with. He has Truly to bond with. And right now, she doesn't understand why he couldn't do the same for her. Why is he taking all of this time? And so you're seeing the little parts of the family start to disintegrate. The family culture starting to disintegrate the minute Robin joins the family.
Mm-hmm.
The minute that Robin came in and Cody and, oh, I'm so in love with this woman, I want to spend every waking hour with her. So Christine also talks, again, this goes back to what I was reading at the very beginning. Trauma convinces us that we're almost loved, that we're almost
Mm-hmm.
enough, that we're almost. And so she talks
it'll
about,
get better.
yeah, it'll get
just like
better
you said.
over time. I can't tell you how many times I heard my mother say that. It'll get better. Don't worry. It'll balance out. That was my mom's favorite statement. It will balance out. I probably have heard my mom say that a million times. Have you ever heard your mom say that?
It's eventually he'll get used to Robin. Robin will blend in. There'll be the equal time given again, but this just doesn't happen in this scenario. So
I know
Robin is consistently, and the little kids from the other wives, and that's the thing, is he's willing to put so much time and effort, which is great, but he used to put at the beginning, or when they were younger, used to put that kind of time and effort into all of his kids.
Right.
And they can even start to see that separation.
Right.
Of now 100% of love and attention is going to Robin's, because we're trying to integrate them into the family. I have to get to know them. There's all the excuses, and yet he falls off. And you can see that in some of the episodes where the older kids who have seen that he can love them and hang out with them are no longer getting time with him. They're begging to hang out with him, and he's not letting them.
Right.
So,
okay. So she has to make a decision to stay in this family. Does she pretend to be helpless to try to get more help? Does she throw a fit when he doesn't come over? Do we talk about it? So we've also done a video on the different wives and their personalities. I think Robin, and just from what I'm reading right here, I can see Robin came in swinging right out of the gate, where she did act helpless. She did act. And so this is all Cody ever knew of his experience with her. He gets to come in and be the hero. He gets to come in and be the man. He gets to come in and do all of the things that maybe in one of our last videos, we talked about how the man holds almost like a position, like a deity in a family. And I got some feedback on it from some former polygamous people who still live there. And they're like, yeah, that's not true. We don't do that. That's because they're in the daily grind of the family. But the father always has the ultimate answer, always has the ultimate say. And so, this is kind of where when Robin comes in and reminds him, you're the leader of the family, you're the god of the family. And of course, we would never refer to it as the god of the family because that would be disrespectful to God, right? But he is elevated to that position. And so Robin comes in and reminds him of that. So now, of course, he's like, yeah, Christine's nagging at me. Janelle's nagging at me. Mary's nagging at me. They don't appreciate my position. And so Robin's reminding him of that. So of course he wants to spend all his time over there. And this is another way these men manipulate these women. This entire page is highlighted because she says, if she tries to talk about it, will he just simply go to another wife's house? And
Yes, I do.
my mom and I have been having some really honest communications lately. And that's what I say to her. What is spiritual about that, Mom? There's nothing spiritual about that. When he manipulates you into, you serve me, I'm your God, you serve me. And then if you don't, I'm not coming to your home. That's ridiculous. Our home. It should be our home, but he uses it as their home. She talks about how some polygamous families do great. And they would find what she's saying offensive, just like some people found what we said about the position that this man holds as offensive.
Well, and she also says in here that they would try to put on it when they knew Cody was coming over. She knew how to cook the food that he liked. He'd have the kids all clean up to make it comfortable for him to come in. They were all competing because if it was just a single mom raising kids and he showed up and she's like, jump in and help, then he's not going to want to be there.
Right.
He's going to go to another wife. So they're on their best behavior. The children are on their best behavior. The wives are on their best behavior, trying to make it comfortable for him to come into their homes
and stay. Yeah.
and stay.
Yeah. And this is how these men manipulate these women. Yep. And then we're always convincing ourselves it's going to get better. She talks about some avoid their responsibilities by leaving the wife to take care of everything. This is 90% of the men that I have had experiences with. Or if they leave, or by leaving, if the wife tries to address an issue. It wasn't a partnership, even though Cody showed up when I needed help, as Cody showing up when I needed help or when I was working. This is one of the things we were taught as young women in this religion, that if a man shows up to your house because he's in a fight with another one of his other wives, you should send him away. You should not allow him to be there. But based on what Christine's writing in this book, Robin did not do that.
No, there's one wife that will not do that. And so he will spend all that time
she
there.
Did do it once on camera on season 19. She did do it because we saw that. And she's like, then you need to go over there. You need to sleep on his couch. You need to do that because it was on camera.
Yeah.
But normally that is not what she's going to do.
Nope.
No. And so then she says in here, because people ask all the time, my mom's 71, just now leaving. Why didn't you leave? Why haven't you left? And she says, if you've ever been through a breakup, there's a million places that you knew where you should have been waiting, but that you should have left, but you're waiting for a sign that it's going to get better. Especially in this religion, you're always taught that it is the eternal long haul. You're in it for the long haul. Stick around. It's going to get better. And
I just wanted to point out, this is chapter 15, right? That we're finishing, where she did say, do I pretend to be helpless? That was a little stab at Robin. Because
there's a million stabs in here at Robin. Yeah.
It's just, that's her behavior, is that she's the helpless one that always needs help from Cody, where the other three wives have been working together doing stuff. Cody's not around. And so they have been taking care of the family, running the family, putting food on the table, doing all of that stuff by themselves. And so they can't act helpless because Cody knows different. He has let them take care of the family up until this point. So
right. And a million worries. I mean, I had all these worries when I left my first husband. You can't afford it. People will judge you for your failure. You'll lose the father of your children. You know, when I left at 25, I was almost 26. I hadn't graduated high school. I didn't have a job. I didn't know how to do it. So this is all of our genuine concerns as we're trying to leave this. And it's not, she knew Robin, he was in love with Robin, but she was still in love with him. And she keeps telling herself it'll get better. Relationships tend to cool off after those first few infatuated months, and things will go back to normal. And in her mind, it was hard to believe that someone could love someone else more, because she loved all of her children the same. She'd never felt that Cody had loved Mary or Janelle more than he had loved her. I love this last part of this chapter where she says, I wonder if Cody would have just ripped the Band-Aid off and said, listen, I know this isn't what we all signed up for, but I'm in love with Robin and I think we need a change of plan. If he said, I can't stand to spend my days away from her, it would have felt like the most horrible thing in the world, but it would have been better for the family in the long run. And at least it was honest.
Yep. Would he have been being honest with her, telling her the truth, would it have been so much better for her and the family,
right?
So much sooner, but they had a show to make, and so they had to put on that show,
right?
So.
Yeah, so that's a chapter 15. I love you guys have so many comments in here.
Yeah, thanks for that super chat.
Yeah, thank you so much, Karen, for that super chat. We really appreciate that. And then we have a new member. We've got Sharebear on here that looks like she signed up. Thank you so much. But yeah, I do realize what happened with our 2 lives. I apologize. I had a live schedule. It looked like you might have started a new live.
Okay.
So, and I had it scheduled, so we didn't go through the scheduled live. We started a brand new live. I just realized that as we were talking. So I do apologize for all of you that are joining us late. Yeah, we didn't log into the correct live. We started a brand new one. So I apologize for that. But let's see. The part that I feel the saddest about in this chapter is when we as children don't see all of these behind the scenes when we are in this religion. We don't. All we see is our parents. All we see is that we're being neglected or not loved. And so I love that McKelty is doing a book club on this, because it really does allow her to deep dive and see what the parents are going through. I never would have had any idea some of the stuff my parents had gone through until I got older. And so I think it's awesome that she's doing that.
I would love to read a book from my mother, sir.
I know. So, and this is why I staked claim on my mom's journals. She said, what do you want when I pass away? Your journals, because I want to understand we only saw things from a child's perspective. And so I think that's awesome that Christine has given her kids something like this. Now, I feel like this is a great memoir, but there's so much more there. She gave us a pretty surface level memoir. There's a little bit of emotion here and there, but I feel like there's a whole other level that she could have gone down to. Yeah. So this is chapter 16. It felt so real. This is where I feel like I kind of adjusted my thought pattern of that maybe it wasn't all made for TV, that maybe there was some genuine concern from them. Because in the state of Utah, we are so predominantly Mormon, and everyone does know everything about everyone else. Yeah, let's see. Theron says Christine was a special guest on the last book club. Oh, on McKelty's book club. Nice. Yeah, I know she answered a question. I saw that on TikTok. I saw a little clip of it.
Well, and to be honest, at this time when these guys we were so far out of the AUB. I had been gone.
You were, but I was still I wasn't active in the AUB at all. But I was still very much involved with a lot of people because my parents were still so involved, and we were down here, and your parents were in Montana.
Well, and as kids though, we were told not to tell certain things to our Mormon family, because they could take it to the Mormon church and cause trouble for. And so
the Mormon church has some sway in the state of Utah. Yeah. They're supposed to have church and state separated. In my opinion, they are not in the state of Utah. The Mormon church has way too much influence over what happens.
Yep. And my mom, when she had married my dad, had kept it secret. It was secret from everybody that she was a polygamist wife. And it was somebody within the church that figured out that she had signed something. They were into everybody's books, or they knew everything about everybody. And when she signed a petition for Pinesdale becoming a township, the church was like, oh, those are the polygamists. If she signed that petition, she's a polygamist too. And so then they went through the process of excommunicating her.
Yeah.
So my mom was excommunicated from the church at that point, even though she hadn't admitted that she was a polygamist wife up to that point. So
right. And
they
so
were into everybody's business. So
they still
the
are to
truth.
some degree, honestly.
Yep.
I like how she talks about our state logo is a beehive, and all the busy bees go out and then they report back to the queen bee.
Mhm.
I love how she says that. And then when you move into a neighborhood, the missionaries are at your door in 2 seconds, and they are. If you are not Mormon, then it is now becoming less and less so. It's not as prominent as it was back when she wrote, back in 2010. I would say we've shifted a little bit. We were predominantly, I'd say 80% Mormon. I think we're now more like 60%. So there are some more. I love how she says the IRS building is located here in Ogden, Utah. It's about 2 hours from our home. Because Utahns will dot their I's and cross their T's and everyone else's too.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone in Utah is very busy, very busy. I have been very surprised that I haven't had a bunch of neighbors come over and talk to us about talking online, because and then she says, if they don't, their bishop will counsel them. And then they can't go to the temple. And this is one Mormons love to tattle on each other. Now, I'm not trying to diss my Mormon friends who are on here. I'm not. It's just, this is how we grew up. It's even worse in the AUB.
Yeah.
It's even worse in Pinesdale, where Corey grew up. You can literally go into town.
It's part of the culture.
It is.
So
yeah,
you got to always be checking on your neighbors. And if they're not doing everything just perfectly right, then they will get told on to the bishopric. So
yeah. Well, and then she talks about how they were hoping that the state of Utah was just going to give them a fine or whatever. The state of Utah can't let them go on TV and continually be committing felonies and get paid for it. So of course they're going to have to move out of the state. They were hoping it'd be a civil rights argument. But she felt like the state of Utah already had decided what was going to happen to the family before. Because I guarantee you they had a heads up about Sister Wives coming out before it ever came out. And then she talks about, why do they care about consenting adults if it's not hurting anyone? Again, this is where I disagree with her. Not everyone is consenting adults. And there are a lot of people who get hurt in this religion.
Yeah. For the majority, I would say since just like the church did, I feel like in the 1800s, they tried to clean up 1900s. They tried to clean up I should say 1900s. In the 1900s, they tried to clean up their image. And the AUB has tried to clean up their image since probably the 70s. So they've been trying to clean up their image too.
I would say the AUB has been, because the 70s is when it started.
That's right.
And so
probably
I would
more
say
80s or 90s.
I would say late 80s, early 90s is when the AUB tried to
clean up so that they don't look like all the other polygamous cults or groups, but they can't get, as well as they clean themselves up, there are still incidences where people are getting married at 17 years old. So they're not consenting adults at 17 years old. So
and that's what's frustrating. Let's see, somebody says, can you answer a question above? I missed the question. Can you throw us out the question
Corey,
again?
I hope you can answer the above.
Yeah, I missed the question.
Well,
yeah,
if you'll
re-ask that question. We left our door open and our son changed our doorbell to Halloween. There you go, someone's at the front door. But she talks about how their own church didn't support them either, and that the leaders, when they decided to do, and we've talked about that on the show, when they decided to do it, the leaders were upset too. one leader that had always been a friend deserted them entirely, which I was curious who that was, because I know it wasn't my dad, because my dad continued to counsel quite a few people, quite a few of the Browns throughout the first several years. But they didn't want them getting up there and talking about sexual and, relations. And then, but they felt like they needed to make it clear that they were 3 separate marriages in 3 separate bedrooms when they got married. Then she talks about the church leaders pulling them in and yelling at them, which is funny because I would have a hard time believing that they would yell at them, but I'm sure that they got very stern. What?
You would find that.
Well, I know my dad did just yell at me.
Yeah.
You're right.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh.
Let me rethink that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah,
you probably could imagine that they would be called in and yelled at. And
I didn't think my dad would ever yell at me like that in public, but he did nonetheless. If you haven't seen that video, it's on our page. It's Polygamous Family's Problem with Authority, I think is the name, is what we named it. But yeah, the church was very upset that they decided to do this show and really went after the sister wives for it. They believe that polygamy is a secret special lifestyle and should be kept private. It is that saying again, casting your pearls before swine. And unfortunately, the world is swine. Let's see, it angered them even more so that they called the show Sister Wives, because Sister Wives was considered to be a sacred term, because the relationships are considered to be sacred. And so now here they are just throwing out this term like it's just a regular term that you're going to say on a Wednesday night book club.
Well, on a Monday morning show.
Yeah. Well, didn't it come on Sunday nights, I think?
Probably.
Yeah, something like that.
On the day you shouldn't be watching TV. So
yeah. Yeah. And so I thought that was really funny that they were talking about us. Or not us, sorry, that they were talking about the sister wives and how sacred it's supposed to be, because I feel like that is what the sister wives tried to present to the world, is that this is a sacred relationship. And we saw everything but that, in my opinion. We've tried to point out the really like the nice parts about it, but they're far and in between.
Well, she points out too that the kids talking about well, we have lots of brothers and sisters. We have, if we need something, we can go to another mother. Those were the only positives. All the rest of the lifestyle was a negative.
Right.
You barely get to see your dad. Your mothers are working their butts off to raise you guys, and then you, as especially older children, are raising the younger children.
Yeah.
You're instantly. So yes.
Yeah. And so then she talks just about how for them this was a very real moment. And I had a change of heart. I really don't know that was all just for the show.
No.
I really feel like they genuinely believe that Cody was going to be arrested.
I do too.
This changed my perception of it for sure.
There's a fear of there probably needed to be made an example of here.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And you never want to be that person that or that family that gets made an example of, because that's usually the most painful out of all of them. She talks about when they told the kids after Christmas that they were going to be moving to Vegas to escape the law situation, that was when they first saw the first cracks in the family. I would beg to differ. I think that there was a lot more cracks before that. They were just a lot. That was when you could start to see it more. The public could see it. But I think that there was a lot more cracks before that.
Well, they were talking and trying to be honest. And so, you could hear a sister wife now on TV talking about it. So those cracks were there probably before, but it was just hearsay. Now it was evidence on the TV show. So yeah, I think all it did was like she says, shine a light on those cracks.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah. Well, and then she talks about how the kids felt like they didn't have any input and that they felt like they had a plan for their lives and it felt very unfair to the kids. And it really did. We've talked about that before too on this channel about how we did feel like it was really unfair to the kids. And how we felt as children when those major life decisions got made, we had zero input on it. And then she said when they arrived in Vegas, they all felt like fugitives from the law and from each other. So yeah, that was a smaller chapter about, and I
Yeah.
agree with so much of what she said, and she definitely changed my mind on just my perception of the show. I really did feel like they just did this extremeness but now I can understand. Thank you, Melinda Hensley, for that super chat. Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
What stood out to me on chapter 16 too was the secret special lifestyle.
Yeah,
Is what she said there.
that's what we're
And
taught.
that's what that is. That's everything is secret and special, and to the extent that even children don't get to know a lot of your secret special stuff. And so I think somebody asked the question up here, was I just rebellious? I don't feel like I was
No,
rebellious.
Corey
I
was
felt like
very
I was
much.
well educated. I started to search out. I read all of their doctrine. I wanted to know it and read it myself. And so uh, when something was taught to me over the pulpit at Sunday school or priesthood meeting or my dad, then I would say, where did you guys get that? And I would go search it and read it. And I started to find so many contradictions within there. And I started to bring that up. Once I started to bring up the contradictions, wait a minute, you guys teach this on one hand, and then this is taught on another hand. And there's so many contradictions within their teachings and their scriptures. Then I was labeled rebellious. I was labeled and so then I started thinking for myself, if you will. And that's not good within you should be listening to what the leaders say. And yes, I know we change leaders every once in a while, but whatever the leader's saying is the truth now. And I studied and questioned, and they don't like people who study their own dogmas. Most of them don't even study their own dogmas. So they don't. So I feel like I was actually probably more educated myself with their dogmas and had too many questions. So I was asked to leave.
Yeah.
So
Yep. And I agree with Cam right here. This is how predators work. They keep things secret
and hidden and special and private.
And the reason we don't tell the world is because it's special. Your brother's on here, by the way. So Kendall. So
hello,
yeah,
brother.
Hi there, brother. I saw a comment that he had made that the Mormon church had treated him and his family well when they left. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
They definitely, I wasn't trying to downplay the Mormon church at all. It's just some of the members can be a little nosy and in everyone else's business. Oh gosh, this is bugging me that this keeps jumping because I wanted to answer some of these questions and I get to the question and try to click on it and it jumps. Let's see. Corey, do you think because you felt so loved by your mothers and loved a wholesome outdoor life, you felt you could say what you felt without fear? Oh, I'm sure he felt fear when
no. I was worried when I was being excommunicated. I didn't know if it was. I thought I was just going to go out in the world and probably not be able to see my family ever again. And my family instantly changed. Instantly, were like, "No, absolutely not. You're still our brother. So you're still our son." So that was welcomed. But I'd seen other people be excommunicated or asked to leave, and you couldn't talk to them, or so yeah, there was the fear still there. I had fear growing up. So
yeah. I don't know. This is funny. I don't know why this comic struck me. Heather says, I think having a tall leader in the AUB might have started a trend. Everyone can see his family from far away. My dad is the leader. He's 6'8". And so the rest of us are tall too. All the boys are 6'5" or above. Most out of all of the girls there's 3 of us girls who are 6'2". Most of us, I'm 6'2". So yeah, our family's very tall.
Somebody asked if I'd wanted to grow up and marry a zillion women like them. I didn't. I didn't. That wasn't something that I was interested in. I knew when I was younger that I was supposed to, but I was seeing the way my moms were being not loved. And I was like, no, I want to have a great relationship with somebody that I love and not have it all. And I have zero capacity to love multiple women. So,
yeah.
So I'm not even going to pretend that I do. So like Cody tried to for 17 years, 18, 20 years.
Right.
Right.
Okay. So we're on chapter 17. It says, we're just doing the best we can in a house full of love. And I feel like when you're not interacting as sister wives, it's very easy to feel the love with the children. Honestly. I mean, I felt like my siblings, our families are very similar, and our families are very similar to the Brown family in the fact that the siblings we all loved each other equally. You couldn't always tell which kid belonged to which mother, because the kids were, in our family, you could always tell which child belonged to which mother based on the mother's behavior, but not on the children's behavior. She talks about 2.26 million people tuned in on that first episode, which was crazy. I'll bet 10,000 of those were AUB members. Everyone that I know tuned into that first episode, because all of us were just like, I think everyone was sitting on pins and needles, and because no one was quite sure how it was going to be represented. And those of us that had already left were like, please tell the truth. Please get in there and tell the truth. And then most people I know watched season 1, and then that was it.
Yeah. And I don't remember.
We watched it. My parents were here. I think my mom and dad were here, and we all watched it together. Yeah. And then she talks about Cody and how it's called Cody. It's not called Cody and the Sister Wives. It's called Cody, or it's called Sister Wives. And he talks about, but the show's mainly about him. And she's like, tells him, mainly because you're just the most dramatic, which we have obviously seen over the last 19 seasons that he is the most dramatic. And then she talks about all the kids and the experiences that this has had for the kids. And I can imagine this was extremely hard for these children.
Yeah.
She said at first that being recognized was fun. Like, I can imagine that it was fun for them to be recognized right off the bat, but then it can be exhausting because your every move is criticized and critiqued by the public. And they had to have known that was coming because of the lifestyle. So,
well, I think Cody felt like it was fun, probably because he was finally getting the attention he needed, and his Diesel Jeans wife was getting her attention too. Of somebody said in here that she's got. I should be nice. I'll just wait. Go.
So they just talked about how, all of us were taught to be very low key. You don't stand out. You don't bring show to yourself. You never want people to look at you. So I'm sure that this was extremely a baptism by fire for so many of these children, because it's just, I mean, it has been for us. Just talking about it and getting on our channel and saying that, talking about our families and stuff, it feels like a baptism by fire. We don't do it the right way all the time. We don't say the right things all the time. We get critiqued on how we do things. And we literally do come from such a sheltered community at times that we don't always. So I can imagine how hard this was on those kids. And we've talked about that a dozen times on our channel, that the children are the collateral damage in this religion at all. And then they're the collateral damage that gets thrown in front of the public. And so my heart goes out to all of the children, because I would say every one of these children has been critiqued and criticized to the point of, man, they have to have some good, solid self-esteem.
This is only, okay, I won't be nice then. This is only my opinion, just my opinion. Somebody said on here that she's getting uglier over the course of the show. And my opinion is you would have to start at more of a beauty standard.
Oh my gosh, Corey.
She
You'd
was
have to
ugly
start at a
from the
place of
beginning.
being- yeah.
She was Robin from the beginning. So,
Oh my gosh. I want
everybody has different tastes. So
I want to read this question. Could your kids read Harry Potter, etc., or were they censored? Absolutely not. No, they absolutely were not allowed. Harry Potter was one of the worst. Now, I had a Down syndrome little brother, and when he got his fixation on something, he didn't care. He was fixated on Harry Potter. He knew every word of every movie by heart, watched it 100 million times. And my dad was furious that my mom allowed him to watch that, because it brought in evil spirits. To this day, now, my dad believes that that has brought in the evil spirits into my mom's home. And so, no, we were not. I remember when Dirty Dancing came out, and it was like, absolutely not. We were not allowed to watch anything remotely close to that.
our kids, though, I think they were asking if our kids were sent.
Oh, were our kids
Yeah.
allowed to? I mean,
No, they could. We've
our kids were
they-
allowed to. We were not allowed to do
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. No, I never watched Harry Potter until my kids got older, but no. But definitely that kind of stuff is censored extremely, an extreme amount in this religion, because anything that has to do with witchery, sorcery, witchcraft of any sort is very, very censored.
Anything that has power or teaches power that is not regulated by the priesthood leaders is censored. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah, they don't like competition. They're the only wizards around. So,
Right. That's hilarious. She talks about how they were starting to have a lot more options. Christine found herself making more choices. But as she watches herself on TV, she realizes her style of communication. This has been true for us in this channel too. I've said things and then went later on gone, ooh, I don't really think I believe that. Why did I say that? But she said that she realized she could be very selfish, and wondered but now that she's out of it, wonders if that selfishness was more self-care than it was being selfish. And that, was it being selfish in a self-involved way or a self-care way?
well, if you pull back, wait a minute, I need to protect my energy. I need to recharge my batteries so that I can show up as a good mom for my kids, things like that. And it's being told that you're being selfish by your husband because a sister wife wasn't being taken care of. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I will be selfish then because I get to choose. And a lot of times they don't get to choose. They're expected to jump in and take care of a sister wife or Cody's needs or this or that. And so being selfish so that you can save your sanity.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it probably been looked down on. She probably got talked to by Cody that she wasn't being a perfect sister wife. So.
Oh, I'm sure she did. And that's what I love about it too, is that she took this as a mirror so that she could heal some of her. And
she started critically thinking. This was awesome.
And this
awesome
is not
to
something
watch.
that we are taught, especially women are not taught to critically think.
Mm-mm.
And so I loved this part of it. This part felt a little stingy because I am currently working on this myself, but she saw that she asked her kids questions and didn't wait for the answers. She just answered the questions for them, and that she wasn't great at conversations. I am now currently working on this with my children. I am coming to this massive realization that this is what I do to my own children. let's see, she felt like there was so many things out of her control, but there was things that she could control. So she used the show as a mirror to teach her the things that, how could she improve? How could she be a better mom? How could she be a better sister wife? Um, I love this part too, because she goes, Cody is a comment reader. And Cody believed that the show made him look bad. I'm like, no, you made yourself look bad. No one else did that for you. You did a great job on your own.
And right off the bat, it sounds like some of us all, I wouldn't say me because I didn't do it, but some people were kind of critiquing his and Robin's marriage, and it was the perfect marriage in his eyes. It was
Yeah.
the one that he wanted all of his wives to come up and become like his and Robin's marriage, and you guys are making fun of that. Oh man, that has got to hurt his ego, his stabbing his kidneys. So that was brilliant. Thank you guys.
Well, and then the comments about Robin, the love of his life, those upset him too. And the negative ones could dig in like fish hooks and drag you down. And I have felt that since we've started our channel, some of the criticism that we get. And at first I was really hurt by some of the comments that came in. And I was just like, what the hell? Like, I'm talking about my real life experiences and you're over here making fun of that or criticizing. And it felt piercing sometimes. And this fool over here never gets a negative comment. Everyone loves him. So.
Well, even if there is a negative comment, I just kind of giggle because I'm like, I assume of who it is. So, and I'm okay with it.
That's true. And honestly,
coming from them, it's great. That's a great comment.
They don't bother anymore.
It
like
doesn't.
99% of them don't bother. If one does stick and it does feel a little stingy, then I'm like, oh, I got something to work on. This hurts a little bit. It's triggering me. Why is it triggering me? And then it's a deep dive in healing.
That's the humble look that she has with her downtrodden face. I can't even do it.
Robin's face.
Her face. That's her humble or thoughtful or whatever. That you'll see it all over AUB. So it's showing somebody.
We call it the humble look.
Yeah.
They walk with their backs are hunched over. There's a little bit of the frown, a little bit of the, it is
deep thinking.
It's really hard to watch some of those girls do that. And Robin definitely does that. She said being married to Robin changed Cody too. Robin and him became similar in their expressions. So yeah, Cody's getting that down face too. The meek look. Yeah. I love that.
And this is an arrogant face, or a heathen face. So,
oh my gosh,
smiling and laughing about their sacred lifestyles. So.
And we've all talked about this online, that he started to sound like Robin. And she mentions that in the book, that they started to sound like each other and look like a couple.
She was a good ventriloquist.
Yeah.
That's what I'll give her some credit for. She's a good ventriloquist. She can make Cody speak Robin every time.
Okay. So. And that used to just piss me off so bad every time Robin speaks Cody, and I love that she calls it out right here, as if the other wives who had been married to him for more than 2 decades don't know what this fool's talking about. Yeah, they do. And then he would repeat on camera what he'd heard in a discussion that those two already had at home. And I was like, that's hilarious, because I don't know. I think that if I told you something that you had to say, you'd say the polar opposite just to screw with me on camera.
Yes, I would.
I know. And so there would be no way that I could ever come on here and tell Corey, you have to say this, or I'd just, he'd make me eat those words hard. So, but yeah, he talks, and then Cody talks to Robin about his other relationships. That is a huge, huge, huge no-no in polygamy, but everybody does it. Everyone has that one wife that they confide in because she's the therapist wife, or she's the whatever wife. And
favorite.
And I love how Janelle points that out in one episode when she's like, I had this conversation with Robin. I didn't say this to you, so I don't know how you found out about it, because Robin tended to know a lot of stuff on the couch, which I thought was ridiculous. it's really bad. It's just bad form. It just makes Cody look like a total ass when he's sharing information about the other wives with the other wives. Corey's getting lost in the comments again. Are you finding some good comments?
Well, that somebody was asking about the Bible.
Oh, yeah.
And
AUB does acknowledge the Bible. Yes.
yeah, and it's usually a King James version of the Bible, but with edits of because Joseph Smith had made a statement that we believe the Bible to be true as long as it's
translated
correctly, and so he's made some edits in the Bible to highlight the Book of Mormon. So that's what, yeah. So yeah, that's where all the contradictions are. So
somebody says behind the scenes, Corey blinked twice if this is true. You're your own man. I don't ever tell him what to say. I really can't. He would tell me no.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that super chat, Soul Blessed Canadian. She says Robin took Christine's experiences and made them her own. The lightning bolt, the soulmate, etc. Robin needed to be dethrone Mother Christine.
The chameleon wife.
That's
so
very, very true. But the whole she speaks Cody, that just frustrated me to beyond. And I love that Christine calls her out on here, because she said, I was often hurt by how much Robin knew, as well as irritated by how much she influenced Cody's behavior towards me as a wife, even if it was in a good way. Robin was not my counselor. I was not married to Robin. I was married to Cody, and he would parrot Robin's words for reasons of his own. And all it does on national television is make him look like a fool. Because he can't come up with his own thoughts.
Makes him look like a puppet.
Yep.
So.
Yep. That's why I think your puppet thing is hilarious. Cody's outlook seemed to become a lot more fear-based, as if everyone were judging him and his family, even as he seemed to enjoy the celebrity status. It's possible that this is why he started to worry about loyalty. So I thought this was really interesting that she points this out about him, because I was wondering where that loyalty started to come from. And this makes perfect sense as to why he would think that, people are online. And we have thought that too. People have come into our comments and said things that I'm like, oh, this person knows a little bit too much. This has got to be a family member or something else. Right.
Or about Pinesdale. Sweet.
And so I've wondered if that's one of the things that Cody thought too, is that maybe the wives went on as different people and said things. And so, yeah. And
maybe went in and catfished other wives. Oh, I'm just making things up.
We haven't even gotten to the catfish season yet.
Yep.
But she talks about how he was trying to do enough to control the outcomes. And we have said this over and over on our channel, that the kids are programmed to say things because they want a controlled outcome. They want something that they know the narrative of. And so he's trying to control the outcome as the patriarch of his family. And then he started to use the word covenant a lot, which I thought was really funny. And then in the
contract,
and that he would start to use the word agreement and contract, and that where they agreed that his word was the law. So for everyone who came after us in our last video, when we said the men put themselves as deities, no, they don't consider themselves. Well, I think some do gods
yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Their word is final. Their position is final.
Yeah.
Corey does not feel that way in our family, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it is. So we'll just edit our deity thing to yet, but they feel like that they are acting in the name of God. And so their word should be listened to as if you were listening to God's word. They're the head of the family. They're speaking for the best of everybody, and it might not feel fair to you, but you need to obey and follow their lead.
Yeah.
So even when they're being absolutely
a pig,
not being fair, and you can point out all the reasons why, but then again, you can't talk negatively about your leaders, and he would be your leader of your family.
Exactly. So, and you made a covenant and a promise
not to speak
the marriage ceremony. That is, they don't film the marriage ceremonies, but part of the marriage ceremony is you make a covenant and a promise not to speak ill of your leadership, and he would be considered a leader in the family. So is he a god? No, but
Yet
is he positioned as such in the family, and does that position go to some men's head? Yes.
And acts like one? Yes.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
there you go. Not a god yet.
Yeah. And then she talks about how they always wanted to present a positive image on the show and to be very careful about not upsetting the balance. And so if she complained about the marriage on the show, Cody spent less time with her and her children. And which is such, it's so frustrating, because this is such a manipulation tactic. And this is how these men control these women and these children. And yet on 3 pages back, they want to talk about how the state, why should polygamy not be a felony? Because there's no abuse. That's us versus them. When in her couple chapters before that, she talks about the us versus them. We're not the abusers. This is straight up abuse that most of us just don't see when we were raised this way. We don't see how manipulative this is and how he's going to spend less time with her if she speaks the truth. So we have said from day one that we have ever started talking about Sister Wives that the show wasn't true, that so much of the show was made for TV. They put on a happy face, but it wasn't reality.
Yeah. Well, and to be honest with you, we do this, or coming out of a group like this, but when we were in it, it was like, we are the better versions of the polygamists.
Yeah.
We're not like, so we're saying, well, I never thought that this kind of behavior was abuse growing up. It wasn't until I got,
because we were taught
it was just how you lived. This wasn't considered abuse. This is the way that you lived. So growing up and then learning more and becoming parents ourselves and going, wait a minute, that caused us traumas. So how do we not abuse our children the same way we felt now that I felt like that we were abused? Now I'm going, yes, this was abuse. But when we were growing up in it, we absolutely didn't believe it was abuse.
Yeah. And if somebody would have told us that, we would have just meant, no, if we don't behave, why would somebody want to spend time with us if we don't behave properly? That was what we were taught. And then she goes on, and I underlined the hell out of this comment, because this is what one of the things Cody would say to her. Well, we can choose to fight or we can choose not to, and all stay. Husbands don't go to the doghouse in polygamy. They go to the next wife's house. That is 100% true. The mental and emotional abuse that women and children suffer at the hands of most of these men is disgusting. And the men sometimes don't even realize that this is what they're doing, because this is what they were taught to do. And that's why we talk about it, is so that we can pull back the curtain to some of these things. And that's abusive. And then people, hopefully some AUB members do watch us, and hopefully they'll start to see that how abusive this actually is. My mom dealt with this for years. I remember my dad saying these things to my mom. I remember my dad saying these things to me. And so, Christine stopped telling, and then the next line I wrote, she stopped telling him when things bothered her, because now she's not keeping sweet. And this is why the whole premise around keeping sweet is so beyond messed up.
Polygamous man, if your wife quits talking to you and just stays super sweet, she's probably on her way out.
Yeah, probably on her way out the door. Yeah. And then I loved how she said it's exhausting. So but she didn't know. She's a lot like Corey, and her face says everything. She can't hide her feelings. So somebody says something and she does a side eye. Somebody says something dumb and she does a lip purse. She says someone else, and she does the eyebrow thing just like Corey does. I don't know how they do it. I can't do it, but my kids can do it too. I don't understand it. Or she gets super upset and she just walks off stage. She doesn't know how to control some of those emotions when they get that intense on the couch. And I can guarantee you that's what we used to laugh about when we watched season 1. We're like, oh, that's going to be a fight later, because they're trying so hard to present a certain face forward to the audience, even though that's not really what's happening on the behind the
behind
scenes.
the scenes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Put on the best. It's when the dad comes home, they're putting on the best behavior to come onto TV. And so I'm trying to, hopefully it gets better. So,
Oh, thank you, Point. So it looks like, and he says there, an AUB all red here, and everything here is 100%. Thank you. Maybe we can connect afterwards and find out who you are. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard to know what's abusive and what's not abusive. I love this part when she says, now what crap, now what does she get to say? Because they have to put their best face forward. We needed people to believe that we were still functioning as a family, even though she rarely saw anyone but the kids offset. Because if they didn't, their whole goal of showing polygamy to be a highly functional, look, there's no abuse here, look, there's no underage marriages here, goes out the window. And so what that is, then I highlighted it again. She says this multiple times in the book. Cody has always withdrawn his love and affection when he's angry at one of them. Now, and I have literally watched this. I've watched this all the way up. I mean, my sister, if for those of you that know, my sister has a channel, Good Enough 444. She talks about this even on her episode she dropped today, about how she told my dad how she was feeling about something, and my dad withdrew a love and affection. And this is what happens. And when you're in a religion where there's 100 of you, you're always in competition for love and affection. You're always trying to get that, hey, look at me, pay attention to me. Hey, I mean, how many times have you been called boy in your life? Because your dad forgot your name.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
he thought it would be funny to name us all with a C or a K, and then it was difficult to remember who we all were. So
yeah. Yep. And then she says afterwards, he would, when the wives would have enough of it and they'd leave or they would do something, he'd pull them back in with a gift or a date night, and he'd start love bombing them. And I've asked my mom a million times, why didn't you leave? And in the minute that she did, this is what he would do too, love bomb. So,
because they made a promise for time and all eternity. And some of these guys, I give it to them, they took that promise serious, where what was Cody's promise, but based on the teachings, once they're not having kids, he doesn't have to worry about them anymore.
Right.
Based on the past behavior of other polygamous men within the group, you put that wife, you can visit her, say hi to her, stuff like that. But now I'm going to spend the majority of the time with the wife that has the young kids.
Right.
So,
well, and this Corey's brother here says, trust me, being a man in the AUB was no picnic either.
No,
I can't even imagine being a man under these circumstances, especially if you really are in love with one of the wives and not with some of the other wives, like Cody's situation here. I can't even imagine. What were you going to say?
Nothing. It was not a picnic. So watching my dad, he had 9 women in there. And so there were some women that, it was way easier to, I mean, I don't see that in Christine. Christine was such a loyal wife, and speaking about polygamy, I feel like he was stupid for doing that, but there are Robins all over polygamy. And
Robin is not the exception. Yeah. There's more Robins than not.
And usually those Robins are able to play out. She's exceptional at the way she plays the game, because now she has made it so that she is the only one there. A lot of times they'll come in, if they're not getting the most attention, everything like that, they cause havoc within.
Yeah.
They cause havoc. And so, he lost all of his wives because of her behavior.
Right.
So,
and I just want to answer this question really quick. Is suicide rate high in the AUB? Yes. And you wouldn't think that it was, because we are so threatened with the threat of eternal damnation if you do this. Um, Yet the lifestyle can become so dark and heavy that feels like a better option than what you're currently living in.
Yeah, when I mean, you're constantly threatened. You could be excommunicated. You could be, you're damned to hell every other weekend. so
Mhm.
so why not, if you're going to go anyhow, why not just get out
Yeah.
quicker? So
Yeah.
there's quite a bit.
I mean, I had my first attempt when I was 20 years old to choose out, because it felt like a better option than what I was going through when my husband was courting a new wife and I was pregnant. Well, actually I wasn't pregnant. I had just had my baby and I was really postpartum and the baby blues were really heavy. And he was wanting to get back into all of that again. And that felt like a better option.
We should have Kendall on here and
Yeah. I'd love to
uh,
hear more of
d-
Kendall's
do
side of it.
yeah, tell the story, what it's going through for a man too.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Then she goes on to talk about how
because there is a thing about, if a wife is not pleased and happy, they can go up the chain of the polygamous group and get you in trouble. And so everybody's walking on eggshells in a lot of these families, because if the guy messes up, they can be told on to the priesthood leaders. So
yeah, very true. Then they get tattled on.
it's not the most exciting lifestyle to live, guys.
Yeah.
So
Now she starts talking about, we just did a video on this episode, season 4, episode 2, where she says Mary counseled her as she started to struggle through her relationship with Cody. He had skipped her birthday and her anniversary that year. And so yeah, she talked about being seen in polygamy. Birthdays and anniversaries are almost the 2 guarantees that you get a year with your husband. And they're not always guaranteed in every family, but that is what you can look forward to every year. Oh, it's my birthday. I get to feel special. I get to feel like I matter. Not that you need to matter more than the other wives, but all of a sudden you get to matter, and your anniversary is the same. And so those are the 2 things that you really look forward to. So if those get missed, that is earth shattering for these women. It was earth shattering for me when mine would get missed. And so that's what she talks about. Feeling seen is a form of intimacy.
mm-hmm.
And it is. And that is one of the reasons why this is my favorite quote. I have it on most all of my social media. Give me the courage to show up and be seen, because it takes courage to get in there and even be seen by your own husband. And so it's really sad because we were taught not to be seen. Be quiet, shrink yourself, be small, get in the back and be quiet and keep sweet. She talks about how Mary told her on camera that she was in charge of her own choices and that only she could make herself happy. So we just did that video. If you guys want to check it out, it's on our profile. But in a relationship, this is one of the things that the women are taught. It's always your responsibility to make sure that you're happy. It's not his responsibility. And I love how she says this. In a relationship, there has to be some give and take. And the rule was always, you have to make Cody happy. Oh, our lights just went out.
Yep.
I was wondering what just happened there. But that's not a real relationship when you're the only one trying to make him happy. Yeah, we'll just have to go without our lights. Got a little hot in here, huh? But that's definitely not a real relationship.
Well, and when she does make her own decision, her own choices to be happy, oh, he has the worst time about it. He has the old kid knife in the kidney.
Yeah,
so
when she does make
he
a
doesn't
decision.
like it when she makes her own decisions. So.
Yeah. At the end of the episode, he takes her on a date, starts love bombing her again. And at the end of the episode, she apologizes to him.
Yeah.
And she'll just go back to being a good wife, because if she goes back to being a good wife, he'll spend more time with her. It's the cycle of abuse just continues and keeps going.
And when she breaks out of it, he's frustrated.
Yep.
Because she had made an agreement, and that his frustration comes that she made an agreement with him over the altar to be obedient and follow and do whatever he says. And so,
Yeah.
and to raise kids together. And he's offended that she would dare break that agreement that they made back at the marriage thing. Doesn't have anything to do with his behavior.
Yeah.
But if she wants to be happy like he seems to be happy,
Then
that's
she better
upsetting.
control herself. Somebody says, okay, so birthdays and anniversaries, that gives a whole new meaning to the conversation regarding Cody and Janelle originally planning to marry on Mary's birthday. And part of the reason, you can turn your light down just a little bit. You're glowing there, love. Part of the reason, we kind of talked about this a little bit on our channel, in the AUB, there's only one day a month that they perform marriages, and everyone gets married on that day. Whoever's getting married that month, they get married that day. And so that's why it came up. Mary's birthday just happened to be the day in January that they were doing marriages. So it's not as if they were trying to plan that on Mary's birthday. It's just that's what happens.
Church is open Monday a month, so
the marriages are open. And if there's too many people getting married that day, then sometimes they'll switch it to 2 days that month, or you just get bumped and you just have to get married in a different month. Or if in this case, I believe they said that the priesthood just went ahead and married Cody and Janelle the next day, which is weird to me. I haven't heard of that happening before, but that's why they would have gotten married on Mary's birthday, not to be hurtful to Mary.
Yeah. Well, then, yeah, I don't understand it either because I've never been married within the AUB. So,
yeah.
So I know they can go through and do endowments later, but usually they're trying to do the marriage and the endowments at the same time, right?
Right.
So,
right. And you can't be a second or third wife if you're not doing your endowments and your marriage at the same time. So that's why you have to go through on just the one day. And they do it that way because it's a big production. It's a live production. It's in the Mormon church. They have now taken theirs from being a live production to a TV, like a video. And so they perform marriages, I believe, every day now. But in the AUB, they still do the live production.
It's playing a marriage.
Well, it's the production of the creation of the world. You can Google or you can go on YouTube. There's a million videos that will show you what the ceremony is. You can just put temple endowment or temple ceremony and you'll see a million videos. And back in the day, the Mormon church used to do it live. Now they do a video. The AUB still does it live. So that's why. Let's see. Oh, I want to know this question. Mel, Corey, you saved yourself for me, right?
For Mel, right?
Yeah, I was a virgin when we got married too. I just had the 3 kids.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I thought since I was going to hell, I might as well
go for a high score.
Yeah, go for a high score. Tamper with all the sins of this world. It was great.
Somebody says, is it a group marriage? It's a group. Everyone's in the room together, but when you actually go to get married, it's you two and the other wives that are there. And if there's no other wives, it's just the 2 of you over, because you get married over an altar. So then it's just the 2 of you. But if he has other wives, then yes, the other wives are at the altar too. But the actual ceremony itself takes about 5 hours, depending on how many people are there. And that is a group setting. So everyone goes through together at the same time. And then everyone is in the room together when the ceremony for your individual marriage happens. Then yes, everyone is in the room together. You just get to go up there, just the 2 of you, or in Cody and Robin's case, the 5 of them all went up to the altar together. What?
Yeah. And this is why they can, since they all got married within a big group setting and everything, this is why it's, I guess, okay to recycle wives, because she could have just mistaken who the husband was in that big group setting. So
yeah,
I'm being facetious.
I know, I got you. So somebody says, did the AUB leader ever give interviews? Yeah, my dad used to be the media specialist for the AUB. They used to do interviews all the time. I don't know if he would. He definitely wouldn't with us because he's so angry with me about that. But they used to, yeah. And Owen, when Owen Allred was the leader, he did interviews quite often. He actually, there was a couple documentaries that he was in. Let's see. Thank you, Tanya, for that super chat. It says, "Hi guys, Heather East asked if transmitted infections are common in the AUB. I'm curious too. I guess it's a taboo subject." Yeah, they are. They can be. In fact, I've been teasing some of my little sisters. It's not funny, but because when it happens, it can be very sad for a lot of people. It affects a lot of different people. But herpes was not a thing in my family until one of the wives came in. And so my mom's upper 5 children don't suffer from that, but her lower 6 children do. And my explanation is because this wife brought herpes into the family, and now
apparently the blessings and anointings didn't take. So
the washings and anointings.
Yeah, washings and anointings didn't take.
Yeah.
Clear it all up.
So some of my sisters suffer from that. Some of my brothers do. I have never had issue with that, but it didn't run in my family until this one wife came in and then she brought it in. So that's probably a little TMI for our family, but it happens, and it's disgusting and it's sad because you're not able to use birth control. You're not supposed to use birth control. So there's a side, well, that's a whole side tangent. We probably should get back to the book.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, you're not supposed to use birth control because the only time you should be intimate is if you're wanting to have children. So based on prophets.
Yeah. It can get pretty severe in some families. Okay, I'll just be gross for a second. What's really bad is when you go to church on Sunday and you see the whole family with a breakout. And then you're just like, damn it. Sorry, guys. I mean, what do you do about
everybody that? Eyeballs a new wife.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is. It's just part of common sharing. At the beginning of this book club, we said we might not get through all the chapters because there was so much to talk about. We're only on chapter 18. I don't know if we're going to get through all of them, but we'll see. So chapter 18 says, "I'll put my big girl pants on." She talks about when she moved closer to Robin down in Vegas, that she thought her and Robin would be closer friends, and that they would be able to develop a friendship because they lived, let's see, what was it, 6 doors down from each other. So she thought that her and Robin would have a chance to hang out together a lot more. And Cody had been getting on Christine's case about being better friends with Robin. And he wasn't getting along with Mary at the time. So Christine thought this is a good opportunity for her to connect more with Robin. I love this part. She says when she first met Robin, she cried often. I think it's kind of funny and interesting that we haven't seen Robin cry. Season 19 is the first season we've watched from start to finish since season 1. I don't think she cried once last season, did she? On a season that warranted a lot of emotion, she didn't shed any tears.
Well, she used them up in the other 18 seasons, so
yeah, she's dried up now.
Yep, she's all dried up.
Yeah, she said she saw it as Christine used to see the tears as sincere, as that Robin was just an emotional person that was in touch with her feelings. That she was altruistic and kind and believed she wanted the best for everyone. I wish there was a line right after that said, "Boy, was I wrong," but it doesn't. Then she just talked about she wanted to foster this relationship with Robin, and she just didn't want to have the relationship with her because it seemed like Robin was always busy. Yeah, well, she's busy at home having a nooner with your husband.
Which is the truth.
It is.
She couldn't go over there.
But
she couldn't go over there because Cody's car was always over there. And she didn't want to interrupt, even though you see Robin, Cody will come over to Christine's house in one of the episodes we saw to get some tools to help another wife. And Robin just shows up. So there's rules that Robin expects the other wives to follow, and you can only come and hang out with them with an appointment because her and Cody could be over there. So, and yet she will break those rules because the wives haven't set up their rules at all. So,
Yeah. And this is, oh my gosh, I have heard this so many times from quite a few polygamous women. I'm not blanket statementing saying they all do it, but I could do that because that's not your rule. It might be my rule and you can't do that in return.
Yeah.
But
I've
that's not
stated my rules. You haven't
exactly.
stated yours.
And they think
So,
that that's perfectly acceptable behavior. Yeah, I don't respect you enough to follow my rules in your house, but I'll just do what is okay for you. Most of the time that happens with disciplining the children too, that one wife is not a spanker, the other wife is a spanker. The wife that's not a spanker will beat the other wife's kids because she can, because that wife does it. The hypocrisy runs real deep. She talks about how the kids noticed it too. This is the one thing that I don't think that parents really take a lot of consideration is how much the kids notice, how much we talked about things. We still talk about things, how much our siblings, we would talk with our siblings. Look what dad's doing with this wife. Look what dad's doing with that wife. Look how unfair this is that he treats these children this way or he treats us this way. And so Christine points that out here in the book that the kids started to notice it too. And then she justified it to herself saying he's just spending time getting to know them. It's going to be fine. It will all balance out later. And then she keeps telling herself, if we could just get back to the place that we were in Wyoming, then she would be willing to stay in this family for eternity, even with the ups and downs. And unfortunately, they never do get back to that place that we know now. But it felt like Robin just kept needing more and Cody wanted to give her more. And this, I mean, we're both the oldest and we have both watched wives come into the family and we have both watched wives come into the family under these circumstances. And it's like, the more they cry, the more they get, the more they squeak, the more they get. The squeaky wheel gets the oil. And so the more they do that, the more they get. And it starts to become so unbalanced that you end up seeing what happens with the sister wives. And one of the things she says is that he is spending so much time with Robin and her kids, getting to know her kids, that he's now
neglecting his children.
Yeah.
His original kids. So
yep.
He is spending all the time over there trying to get those kids to be a part of, infiltrate into the family, yet he's spending the time with them, not the kid, not the family. So
right. And I love that she points out that he was only coming to her house every third or fourth night. And it was never on the day, never during the day, and never on the weekends. And I mean, where was he? And that's what she says. She points out that they all had the same work schedule. The show was their job. And so why is, she's spending as little, he'd come home for dinner, spend a little time with the kids, go to bed, wake up, the kids would go to school and he'd leave again.
Yeah, she's showing his inconsistency. And best place for her to see it is 6 doors down. You can see where he's parking at night. Well, he's not over at
Robin's. And then we started noticing that he's pulling his car into Robin's garage. And that way no one can see where his car is. So Robin's now parking outside. We're on season 4. Robin's now parking outside. And at first I was like, why is she not parking inside? She's the one with an infant. She's the one but this is why she's not parking in her garage, is because Cody's parking in the garage. That way the wives can't see where Cody's at. They can't drive by and say, oh, I saw Cody's car in Robin's driveway. She's talking about.
So he's being secret and special lifestyle. He's being the secret,
he's just living
sacred,
a secret and special lifestyle. Yeah.
From the other wives. Cool.
And so, but her kids started noticing and commenting that Cody was an absentee dad, and it started in Vegas because Cody was very hands-on. I remember he was very hands-on with the kids at the beginning. And then when you want to spend your days and afternoons with one wife, you become there's no way you can be fully involved. And then he's not co-parenting. There is no co-parenting going on here. And that so then she talks about how angry Cody is because she doesn't have a better relationship with her sister wives, and she wanted to improve her relationship with Robin, but she can't because Cody is always at Robin's house.
Cody's in the way.
So she can't go over there and create a relationship with Robin when Cody's there. And yeah. And then she says that Mary and Janelle didn't always see what was happening. And Christine gets frustrated. Like, do you guys literally, you can't see it? And are you not listening to your children? Our children are talking about the complete unbalance of what's happening here. And I wrote, she felt like she was yelling into the wind because nobody was hearing her. Nobody was paying attention to it. And she's trying to point this out all at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Let's see. She says Janelle didn't need to see it because her and Cody were fine. And Mary had a stronger friendship with Robin than she did with any of the other wives. So it was harder for her to see what was happening with Robin and Cody. And then this part infuriated me because of personal experience and being the oldest. I'm the one who had to step up and take care of things. After Christine had Truly, Cody stayed with her for 2 days. She asked Cody to stay longer, and he said no, he couldn't. She needed to get her sister wives help to go ask. She remembers him telling her, no, he doesn't have the time. Ask your sister wives for help. I've heard my dad say that exact statement a million times. And so then she points out after Robin had Saul in October of 2011, this might be a slight exaggeration. I don't know. But she says Cody stayed with Robin for 2 weeks before the baby was born, and then 2 weeks after the baby was born. And
why would that be an exaggeration?
I don't know, because I don't know
that he did it.
That's a month away from your other families.
Yeah. Prior to COVID, he did that completely. So
well, yeah,
absolutely, he's just setting up a game plan. So
yeah,
and if you're justifying it because here Robin is, and he's been asking all the other wives to be good sister wives to her, and she's continually telling them they're not good sister wives to me, they're not helping me, you need to be here helping me. He's going to be there helping.
Well,
and criticizing them for not being good sister wives. So it's a pattern that he's creating,
right?
So, and that she's helping him, that Robin's demanding this pattern to. So this is the beginnings of the patterns.
True. Well, and then she says that she remembers thinking, that's not relying on your sister wives. That's not polygamy. Mm-mm. And she wondered if Robin was that much more helpless than the rest of the wives, or if Cody was finally listening to the midwife and helping out more and trying to bond with the child more. But I mean, come on, you're on child, what, 16, 15? I don't know. And then the next question she asked herself, did Robin just mean that much more to Cody? Yeah, he did.
He did. And so this is just, I think she's just becoming aware of the evidence that Cody has pulled away from the rest of the family, accused them of being the ones that pulled away from Robin, or pulled away the whole time that he has been pulling away. He's been gone from the family since the honeymoon. So he really has chosen to be elsewhere from the family and letting them running it. And they're trying to put on a show showing the shiny parts of polygamy, and they're doing it on their own.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah.
So she's just now becoming aware of all the red flags that was going on in the relationship. So,
and that's the sad part, is that
and why
it feels wrong.
Yeah.
When you're in the situations, it feels wrong. But the minute that you question it, then you're
wrong for questioning.
Then you are not a faithful servant.
There you
go. Then you are not a faithful sister wife. Then you are not a faithful. And so it doesn't matter. We have, in my experience, been taught so much not to trust our gut instinct of what is right and wrong. You don't believe your lying eyes.
Yeah.
Only believe what we tell you to believe.
And if you question, you're going to be re-educated back into obedience.
Very true.
So, or you're going to leave.
Very true.
So,
yeah. And so she says that Robin did not rely on the sister wives for anything.
Mm-mm.
She ended up getting a nanny. She ended up having her sister move in with her. McKelty moved in with her to help her.
She didn't want the sister wives
Right.
around.
Well, and then she says in here that even though Janelle and Mary didn't get along, they knew they could depend on each other as sister wives no matter what, but they didn't have that relationship with Robin. And that's why she thinks that Robin never fully experienced polygamy, plural marriages, because she didn't rely on her sister wives. There wasn't that sister wife bond. So that's why I find it funny that now who's crying the hardest? I just wanted to sit in a rocking chair on a porch with my sister wives. I feel like those who cry foul the loudest are the ones who are most guilty of what they're crying. And they're continually crying about it all the time. Because look who's so heartbroken that the sister wives have broken up. You didn't have anything to do with them anyways. Why did that matter to you? And so that's one of the things that I understand where some of the bitterness could come from with those wives.
Yep. Your dad could provide that for her.
Yeah.
All the sister wives on the porch rocking.
Right.
So once she leaves Cody,
yeah,
and marries your dad.
Stop it. That is not happening. It's a running joke that if Robin wanted to go back into the AUB, she could, and there would be men who would want to marry her, and my dad would,
being one of them, the highest degree of profit in the AUB. Why wouldn't you marry the highest degree?
I mean, go for the high score there, right?
Yeah.
So, but then she talks about, they very rarely had anything to do with the sister wives. Robin didn't. And if Christine wanted to have a relationship with Cody and spend time with Cody, she had to have a good relationship with Robin. And which I think is so sad. And I've seen those ultimatums be given to women so many times.
Ultimately, somebody said in here to feel like McKelty was just we're raised as kids within these groups, and we're being told the same thing as the mothers. We should be friends with the other wives. We should have a connection with them. If we need something, we should be able to go over there and ask another mother for help and have relationships. You're going to get different knowledge from different of your mothers. Mm-hmm. And so McKelty was just trying to do what she was raised to do, and make connections with all of the mothers. And she wanted to help out Robin and do things like that. I think she's probably, and at the very beginning, all of them were kind of like, oh, she's so sweet, she does this. Cody's harping that storyline out. And so she's wanting to help the other mothers if they need help and get to know new brothers and sisters. So it's part of the way we are raised to do it. I don't think she did it as a stab for her mom. It's what we were required to do as children. Yeah. To connect with all of the family. If you were the kids who didn't show in excitement when Robin announced a birth, were talked to later. Yeah. And so McKelty was getting in there, excited for a new mom, excited to help out with new kids, new brothers and sisters. And she was being a good daughter at the time. It was not a stab at her mom. It was probably encouraged by all of the adults in the family. And you want to have your dad love you. That's one of the biggest things that you're always working. So you're wanting to impress him. So if you can go over and become friends with the new wife, that's what you're doing. Eventually, as things pan out the way they do, she took her mom's side. She's definitely in Christine's fight now, so, and understands why Christine left.
See, and I have a little bit different of a perspective on that, just because I was that girl that like McKelty, not the pick me type of girl, but when the wife came into the family that was like Robin, I feel like Robin preyed on McKelty. She knew that McKelty wanted approval. She wanted to be seen by her parents. And so Robin used McKelty. She used her as a way to
Get closer to her dad.
get closer to her dad, to be able to. And I was 14 when this woman came into our family, and I felt that way. I felt very used by her when I got older and could turn around and see the behavior that had happened, but I felt special. And in a family, when there's 25 of you, what makes you special? Well, Robin came in and made McKelty feel special and made her feel seen and made her feel important. And so I feel like really I can I would put blame square on Robin's shoulders, really, because she's an adult and McKelty was a child. And so McKelty just wanted to be seen. That's really what it was. And I think Robin used her and abused her. And so I guess coming from my own personal experience, that's what I would say. But yeah, so then
and even Christine encouraged that relationship with them, because
well, my mom did too.
Yeah. You want your kids to feel important, and if they can't be getting it from hey, go hang out with Robin. You might be able to see your dad more.
Right.
So,
well, and Heather says right here, oops, sorry, darn it. Where did that just go? 25 is too many kids. Kids need attention. And I agree with that. And then also in this comment right here, Robin used McKelty for information on Christine. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Robin, McKelty comes in, she's frustrated. She vents about some of the things. Oh yeah, my mom and Cody aren't getting along. My mom and dad aren't getting along. Robin uses that information. And so that's why I'm saying I blame Robin for a lot of McKelty's unfortunate behavior in some of the episodes, because she was a little kid wanting to be seen, and Robin used, abused, and manipulated her for information. And is what, again, I could be wrong. This is just what I see.
Yeah.
Let's see. So then Robin and Christine end up going to lunch. We just watched this episode too. We are about to do a video on this one. This is episode, this is season 4, episode 3. We've just watched this one. We're about to do this video. And so she talks about how Robin had been very angry about Christmas, and Robin had come in and felt like Christine was putting Robin in her place. And Robin's not about to be put in her place by anyone, especially not somebody on the totem pole like Christine. And so Christine was letting Robin know, these are some of the family traditions that we do. We celebrate Joseph Smith's birthday on the 23rd of December, which I have now come to find out not very many people even know or celebrate. We did. Our family knew. I grew up knowing that it was Joseph Smith's birthday.
Well, we knew, but I don't think we did a celebration.
Yeah. Christine's family did, and we went to that celebration a few times when I was younger. Let's see.
I remember getting ready for Christmas. I didn't remember celebrating.
Yeah,
his birthday.
I remember we went to the All Red compound and had like a big dinner.
And I did cake and candles to blow.
No, it's a spiritual experience. It's more of like there's hymns sung, there was candles. I mean, it was more of it was very nice. It was fancy, nice type thing. So yeah. Then she talks about just trying to let Robin know some of the traditions that each one of the wives had brought into the family, and asked Robin if she had any traditions that she wanted to bring into the family. And Robin went to Cody and said, Christine's trying to be controlling and trying to, and thought Christine was being controlling and rude. So Cody let Christine know she was being controlling and rude over Robin. And Christine's like, what? Trying to tell Robin she had to fit into certain parameters, which is not, I can't see Christine being that way either. But of course, what did Christine do? She went and apologized for her bad behavior. And so,
as a good sister wife should.
Yep. And so when we watched this luncheon just barely, and both of us were like, oh my gosh, you're killing me. What? Look at Christine's face. She looks disgusted. But she said she meant it sincerely and no excuses. She came to the meeting hoping to build a friendship with Robin, and Robin started to cry. And Robin's like, well, I thought you hated me. Nope, I was mad at Cody. I thought you blamed me for everything. Nope, I was mad at Cody. She understood quickly that whatever she said to Robin would go to Cody, and there might be a twist to what was actually said.
Yep.
Then, though the wives agreed that they wouldn't talk about what happened in the bedroom, Robin somehow found out that Christine was no longer giving Cody hour-long massages. And she asks Christine right there, "Why aren't you doing massages for Cody anymore?" And Christine says bluntly, "He doesn't give anything back. It's not a give and take." And she says, "Really? I thought he was a great husband. Is he now?" She thought, "I thought it was a betrayal that he could talk to her about our sex life and that she would allow him to do that." I underlined the hell out of that because I have been criticized quite a bit about holding women more accountable in this religion than men. And I hope Kendall's still on, but I think that it's true. We were taught our entire lives not to let your husband have certain bad behaviors. And those wives who allow this are breaking the rules that we were taught. They do it for favor from their husband. It is like a stab in the back. It's a breaking of the sister wives bond, like a bro code. It's a sister wives code that you're not supposed to do. And this is one of the reasons why I do hold women a lot more accountable, because the manipulation levels are extremely high that they do to each other, not just the husband. The mistrust, the lies, all the things that they do. I mean, you've seen sister wives and their bad behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're taught these things growing up, don't let your husband come and talk to you about other wives. Don't do these things. If he comes to your house when he's angry with another wife, send him back. Don't let him come to your house if he's angry and fighting with another wife. And yet Robin broke every one of these according to this book. Robin broke all of these things.
And according to the show.
Well, and according
to tons of evidence on TV. So, yeah.
Yeah. And so that is one of the reasons why I do hold these women so much more accountable than I hold.
Well, and I should clarify that too. I lived in a house with 9 women. So, and I saw they didn't like each other. And I was like, I will never, it was too much turmoil. It was angry with each other and constantly fighting. So,
yeah.
And so, that's another reason I was like, I will never live polygamy. There's no way you can find 2 women that get along all the time. So just from the 9 women that I grew up with. So
so I do hold women a lot more accountable because they should have known better, and they do know better, and then they don't do it anyways. And then they do it to undermine a sister wife. The men do it for their own lack of accountability. Women do it to undermine another woman. And that is like, you're not a girl's girl, not a girl's girl at all. But go ahead. So thank you so much, Comfy Cozy ASMR, for the super chat. You want me to read it?
Yeah, because
Robin acted on the same level as the kids because she was younger than the wives, being helpless and grudges against the kids. Do younger wives do that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that you have to be a younger wife to do that. I think that's pretty common in a lot of wives, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, yes, Robin was a lot closer to the age, but she's not that much young. I mean, she's 8 years younger than Christine. Well, or not even, she's 6 years younger than Christine. She's 4 years younger than me. I'm 2 years younger than Christine. So she is not that much younger. And she knows better, I guess, because she's an adult. So I think that some women use that as an excuse, but I don't feel like it's really that valid of an excuse. Again, I am a lot harder on the women just because I do feel like girls, not that girls are always in the right or anything like that, but when you're undercutting another wife for your advantage, I struggle with that a lot because I watched that happen to my mom a lot. My mom would sacrifice things. I feel like she was a lot like Christine, where she would sacrifice things and just in her mind tell herself it would get better. And then it never did. And those other wives took advantage of that. And you get those very selfish, self-centered wives who will take advantage of all of that. And that's what's frustrating to watch.
She was 12 when the first marriage started, probably.
Yeah. Robin was 12 when Cody and
Christine or
Mary got
married.
Yeah. Then Robin was 12. I think that's what Mary said. Let's see. I think we might have to stop there because we've been going for 2 hours. So we've got chapter 19 and chapter 20 still, but I want to get to some of your guys' questions too. So I think we're going to stop there. And then next week we'll finish chapters 19 and 20. But let's see, because chapter 19 has so much juice in it and I really want to go over it. But just that one chapter alone is going to take us quite a bit because I've highlighted damn near the whole chapter. Because there's so much good stuff in that one. So I want to make sure that we get through that. Let's see.
Yeah. Polygamy is miserable for the kids, for the wives, and for the husband. Mm-hmm. It's not, and usually I feel like sometimes the husbands will go through the misery part of it for a long while. And then based on some of the teachings, you can put those sister wives out to pasture, and then you can just create a moment of peace by being with one wife for a while. So, and that's what Cody did. He's like, you know what? I'm going to go over here and just stay with Robin, not understanding, not even being aware that that's where a lot of the discord, what's the word? Yeah, disgruntlement was coming from, was Robin.
Yeah. So. And this is very true. Heather says this, I read once that once you get power, no one cares how you did it. Robin understood that well. Mm-hmm. And I think that's true. I think she came in and undermined and undercut these other wives and then treated Cody like her best customer. And she came in and now for her to say, I never wanted to be a monogamist. It was chosen for me. I literally want to throw something at the television when I saw that on Sunday.
But you do realize that is her at this point in time manipulating Cody, making Cody still be a puppet to her. Like, am I good enough? I need to be good enough. Just can we please be monogamous? Is everything going to work out? It's her still playing the game to keep him eating out of her hands.
Yeah. So, yeah. She's extremely emotionally manipulative.
She can't manipulate here's the thing. She was manipulating. She came into the family and she started manipulating the four adults. Mm-hmm. She was doing it so well. 3 of the adults left. No more manipulation for us, Robin. And so now the only one she can manipulate, and he loves it, is Cody. So
yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, that's let's see. Okay, Catherine says there are just too many logistical problems providing both emotional and financial support to that many people. Too heavy of a responsibility for the men and too lonely for the wives. Mm-hmm. And I agree. This is one of the things. My mom's currently on her way out of, divorcing or leaving my dad. And this is one of the things that I've said to her. In a religion that is meant to be all about eternal families, all about eternal marriages and covenants, how on earth can that happen when you don't even know who your own children are? How can you have an eternal family with somebody you don't even know? And that it's really, what's spiritual about that? What is heavenly about that? When these fathers don't even know a good chunk of their children and have nothing. And then if they do know some of them, they write them off like it's no big deal. Oh, I got 20 more of you, so I'll just go ahead and let that one go. And that happens a lot where, I mean, you're seeing it with Cody right now, where he's just like, oh, I can't have a relationship with my kids because they want it under their condition and they don't get to set the conditions. Only I do. And so he just writes his children off.
They have to love Robin as much as I love Robin for me to have a relationship with them.
Right. So and that's what's so frustrating. We just posted our recap of Sunday night's episode. We posted it. I think we posted it yesterday But we posted it just barely. So if you want to check that out, I know. So I think, Ellen, I've been seeing you pop up here. And I think you're from the AUB too. So I'm sorry, I'm trying to catch up on some of these. The comments will come by so fast, we can't always see them. So this one, Kendall, are you part of Corey's family? Yes, he is one of Corey's
my
brothers.
older brother.
Just different last name. His mom married into the family, and so different last name, but he still got the K name. I don't know how that happened.
He's my older brother. I grew up with him my whole life. I think that I always remember him as being my older brothers.
Yeah, his mom married your dad when you were really tiny, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we are both the oldest of our biological mothers, our mothers, and we are both the oldest children. But then our dads married other women that had children older than us, which makes it so that we're not.
So Kendall's mom was the fourth wife, I think.
Yeah.
So, and he's the oldest of his mom's siblings, right. But they were just our brothers. He took us out and did all sorts of stuff. So, and then when he got married, then I would babysit for him. So he used to pay me a silver dollar every time I babysat for him. So it was awesome.
You still have all the silver dollars.
All my silver dollars. So
yep. I like this one. I meant more than that Robin used her age as a manipulation tactic. Yes, I agree with that. And I think the wives fell for it at the beginning. I think you're right. Yeah. There's a lot of grace that is given to the new wife coming in, I think. Now, the new wives might disagree with me on that, but the already previous wives try to give them a lot of grace because they don't know better, or whatever reason, like Christine says in here, it'll get better. Things will even out. So yeah, it's definitely, that's definitely something that happens. And then they don't always see or they do see the manipulation, but then they don't think she sees the manipulation. So then they give her the benefit of the doubt. There's a lot of that happens. Let's see. In your families, was it common to have your mom's last name, or did all the biological kids of your dads have their last names? In my family, we all took my dad's last name.
We're all the.
But in your family, didn't you guys, you took your mom's on biological, or you took your mom's maiden name and your dad's last name, right?
Yeah.
So they were all known by both.
On our birth certificate, I was only known as Corey. So
yeah,
Corey last name on to everybody up there.
How do you guys keep it all straight? My head spins just listening to it. Sometimes it can be really tricky. It really can. And especially when the rules change all the time and everyone has different experiences all the time.
Well, keeping our family straight was simple for me because I grew up in it. I knew, and trying to explain it to people on the outside, well, yeah, they have a different mom, but they were still my brother or sister. I don't know. It was weird. I didn't know I don't know. At a certain age, teenage age, I was like, oh, how come they have a different last name? But they were just still my older brothers. So,
and everyone who married into my dad's family took on my dad's name.
Yeah.
And so even if the kids were from a different father, they always took on my dad's name. So we didn't know any different. This question, Robin will never live polygamy because she will never put her kids through that situation. Do you believe that maybe someday the kids will meet up and have a relationship with Robin's kids, or never? I don't think they will.
I think they will. Eventually, those kids will probably want to meet their older siblings.
Yeah.
Eventually, those kids are going to see their mother's manipulation because they're being manipulated too. And eventually those kids will see their mother's manipulation, see that, especially with the older ones, see that they did have a good relationship with those other siblings and what got in the way of it. But
Yeah, you have a similar situation with some of your siblings, and you guys haven't gotten together and gotten to know each other.
yeah, that's true.
Oh,
So maybe
you don't
not.
have they don't have anything to do with you guys, and you don't have anything to do with them.
They have some things to do with some of my
One
other
or two of the
siblings that
siblings,
they
but
grew
as a
up with.
family in whole,
I'm
no.
older now. Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you, Jen, for becoming a member. We just got Jen became a member on there.
Nice. Thank you.
And then, yeah, so I think it really depends. Like individual children will seek out and try to have relationships with other children. But is it very common for those, especially for like Solomon and Ari to come in and have a relationship with the whole family? I don't see that happening. That didn't happen in your family. And I don't know.
They might have a relationship with some of the
with one or
kids
two of the
later.
kids, and they've reached out and stayed in contact with each other, but not as a family.
That's usually when they become adults.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Ellen says we don't always see how messed up things were until later in life. And that's really true. You don't see how emotionally manipulated you were as a child until you start to go through the healing process and the deconstruction process, and then you start to see it. Let's see. Jen says, did I get a star? I think you did. Yes. I think yep, you did. I see it. So, and we do try to answer the star questions before all the other questions. So thank you so much. Let's see. We'll answer this one last question. Oh, thank you, Susan. Yep.
Yeah,
Susan just got a star too. So yeah, we do try to answer the star questions. The super chat questions and the star questions, because there's so many comments that we're trying to keep up with some of them. But we are actually going to make a video on this one. If a man dies, would a brother marry the deceased wives? So we're actually going to make a video on this one. So watch for that, because that's a whole topic and a whole conversation. And there's a whole lot to that. And yes, that does happen. It happens frequently. And it doesn't always turn out the best. Sometimes it can be pretty rough. So let's see. And then, thank you, Tanya. And we can't put the super chats up on the screen yet. We've emailed them. Thank you so much for that super chat. Tanya says, do you think Robin will get jealous of her daughters as they mature and grow older? Cody gets cringe with the eldest girl. Yeah, absolutely. I've seen that with some of my own siblings, and the mother that I would consider similar to Robin, I've seen that with her and her girls. And although my dad's not that way with her daughters, the way that Cody is with Robin's girls, my dad is not that way. My dad is very, very, when it comes to any sort of inappropriateness, he is very straight-laced when it comes to that. And unless, of course, he marries one of my best friends. But nonetheless, I think that Robin will have some issues with that. Oh, what were you going to say?
I'm saying nothing. I'm biting my tongue.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So, Catherine says, another problem is that some of Robin's kids are a lot younger than the rest of the family. Yeah. And that's true. And that's how it is in the Corey's case too.
Well, I'm sorry. Saul and Ari, they've only been raised in, from the time that they probably can remember. Cody's been around 24/7. So I bet they don't have memories back when the whole family got together and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If they do, it's when they were probably watching the show. So yeah, they've been living a monogamous life with a dad and a mom. So
yeah, they don't know any different. Ellen says, your dad scared the ish out of me. He does that to a lot of people. He did that to me recently too. And then he just pissed me off. So, yeah, you'll have to email us. Our email is on our bio, and you'll have to email us and let us know who you are. Okay. Thank you so much for,
thanks, guys.
Let's see, Halos, She, thank you so much for joining.
Welcome to level 1.
But we are going to be covering, we'll wrap up because we were trying to keep these close to 2 hours, but, thank you for joining us. We're going to be covering Special Forces. That comes on tomorrow. We'll only cover it until Cody's off of it, but Corey just loves watching Cody get told to shut the F up. And so we'll be going over that tomorrow. Are we going to do a live, or did you want to make a video on it? So
I don't
we
know.
like doing the lives because we like interacting.
Answering the questions and joking about what we all saw him
Yeah.
go through. So
Yeah. And so that will be on probably Friday. Well, it will be Friday because Special Forces comes on here for us at like 9 p.m. And so we'll watch that tomorrow night and then we'll go live on Friday afternoon. So watch for that. We are going to start regularly going live again on Monday. Just to do a chat about the episode on Sunday night. And then we'll still do our recap on it too. So make sure to join us on that too. But we will get to 19 and 20 next week. We'll maybe go a little bit longer next week on our book club. And again, I apologize for everyone who went onto the other stream. We will make sure that we get that cleaned up for next week. But
and our daughter is helping us put together our shop now.
Oh yeah. So we have our first sweatshirt out.
So yeah,
Nefarious
sweatshirt
Revelations.
Nefarious Revelation, and I get to be the model of it. So
yeah,
if you go over to our shop, you can see our Nefarious Revelation sweatshirt for the nice winter months. So yeah, go over and take a look, see if you guys like it. Helps us out working on some other things, mugs and things like that. So
yeah.
But in any other ideas, we'd love to hear them from you guys. But yeah, go over and look at our shop.
So thank you guys so much for joining us on
like, subscribe,
not our
share.
regular book club, but thank you guys. And we'll be back to our regular time next Tuesday. So make sure you stop by and we'll have this one back up on YouTube here. It takes a minute for it to process, but it'll be back up for any of you who joined us late and want to join again.
Like, subscribe, and share. We'd love you guys to share as many people as you can. So
yeah.